Hey everybody, I'm Mike, and this is Mike Miller Talks Life. Today's quote, spread love everywhere you go. There are a lot of things being spread around in our current culture. Conspiracy theories, political ideas and issues, hate, anger, a lack of trust, racism issues, judgment, fear, hopelessness, negative attitudes. None of these are helpful. They're all damaging. They all create problems within us as individuals, and they also keep our society divided and sort of at odds with each other. The quote says, spread love everywhere you go. I've been sharing some thoughts from what Christians call the fruit of the Spirit. And these are traits that God plants in every person who puts their faith and trust in Him. And as they begin to grow and manifest themselves, they are evidence of God in our life. These are great traits, and they're reminders to Christians. This is how we are to come across to people. And they're also for non-Christians to see what Christians are really supposed to be about. And today, the final topic in this is love. Spread love everywhere you go. People need love. I think it's one of the greatest needs we have. And especially in this time of unrest, coming off this time of great isolation and fear and craziness, just craziness, it's more and more apparent that we need love. And the kind of love that we are to spread around requires a choice. We have to intentionally choose to do it. It is a sacrifice. It will call for sacrifice on our part, time and energy, to invest in people. And it's a commitment that we need to make to people to be a loving person. God takes love very seriously. His ultimate act on behalf of all people is to show His love. His love sets people free. It was a choice. He intentionally chose to love people. It was a sacrifice. He sacrificed greatly. The Christian belief is that God became flesh, lived among us, died on the cross, and was risen from the grave 3 days later. That's our main deal. And it's big. I mean, if you ever decide that that could be true, there's nothing else that can compare with this sacrifice that God shows all people. And it was a commitment that He made to us, to people, to get us back into a relationship with Him. How are we supposed to love people? Love is kind of confusing. And how are we supposed to love people? It's hard enough, we think, sometimes just to love people in our own family. And yet we're supposed to spread it around everywhere. I think that we will begin communicating love to people when we communicate some key messages to them. And that's where it will begin, but it will probably grow. First message is, I accept you as you are. Often we think of people as a project to fix. But this does not feel loving to the person. I mean, I don't want to be a project. The person needs love. They may need to make some changes, and they may be making some bad choices. They may have a ways to go before they ever have their head on and have their life together. But acceptance is what they need from us. Acceptance creates an environment that encourages and allows for change. Often, we want to correct them. We want to parent them, or we want to monitor them, but they need acceptance. You don't have to agree. don't have to approve of a lot of things. They don't need our approval. They need our acceptance. I accept you as you are. Attempt to convey that attitude. Number two, I believe you are valuable. Everybody you meet is valuable. They have dignity. They have worth. They are worthy of respect. God created them. God made them. And they have value. Their value may be marred and tarnished and covered over with mistakes and problems from life choices they've made or things that have happened to them. But when we convey that we believe they are valuable, then they will begin to blossom. Our love for them will bring the value out. And they'll begin to blossom. They will begin to see their value. When we value something, we take great care. We treat it as special. And this is something that we need to do with people. Treat them as though they have great value. And they will begin to see their value. Many people, it's sad, many people don't feel they're valuable. They do not feel that they are worthy of respect. Just because of what life has done to them and the choices that they've made. We're not giving them value, but we're treating them with respect and value because they have it. I believe you're valuable. Number three, I care when you hurt. There are a lot of hurting people in our world. You don't have to look very far to find a hurting person. They're on our streets, in our neighborhoods, in our communities. They work with us. There are more hurting people now than ever before. They've been wounded. They've experienced rejection. They're lonely. They're suffering from failure. They've experienced major loss during this pandemic. They're damaged. They have made a mess of their own lives through bad choices or just things have happened to them that have hurt them. There are many mental health issues that are coming to the surface because of the isolation we have all been through because of this pandemic that some people aren't really able to shake off very well, and they're hurting. And one thing that is now manifesting itself, and I think it's just going to grow, is massive amounts of grief from the losses people have endured. People have lost loved ones during this time of pandemic, and it's been tragic. Their loved ones have been in the hospital and they're not allowed to go visit them. And it's just, how sad. It's hard to imagine that. People have missed out on important events, the birth of grandchildren, weddings that were not allowed a large group to, so they went ahead with a small wedding and people weren't allowed to come that really would have liked to be there. Funerals, school events, prom, graduation, not being able to be with their core friends from school. Deep hurt has come from some of this. And we can be kind of callous sometimes because it hasn't been our hurt. We haven't been affected that way. And so we can say, get over it, come on. It's not that big a deal. But for some people it is. How can you help? Well, it's hard sometimes, and maybe there's nothing practical you can do. But when you say that you care about their hurt, one of the ways to really communicate that is to be tender and understanding, to listen to them, tell their story, talk about their situation. I care when you hurt. Number 4, I desire only what's best for you. We often have this idea or believe that the way we do life is the way everyone should do life. And this can come off as unloving, judgmental, and it's pretty arrogant that our way is the best way for everybody. We want to communicate that I desire only what's best for you. Not my plan, not my expectations, but what is the best thing for you right now? What do you need? Helping people get what they need means we're going to be encouraging and supportive. It means that we may speak up if they're making a bad decision that's not going to be the best thing for them. And it's like an obvious no-brainer. People, it's so easy to get sidetracked, so easy to make a wrong turn and move down a path that's not going to be the best way for them. And love is a commitment. That means sometimes you're going to say, hey, I don't think that's the best thing. Let's talk about it. And maybe there's another way. You're going to be kind and gentle and understanding, but you're committed to them. You want only what's best for them. It means you're going to be patient and kind and wait for the right timing to say some things. I believe everybody needs to be in a relationship with God through faith. And I believe we're made by God and for God, but that's not the first thing I'm going to say to somebody. I want the best for them, which I think that is. But first, we're going to work through some other things to get to where that's an okay topic to bring up. Finally, I erase all past offenses. A powerful act of love is to forgive, to let a grudge go. You may have been hurt by this person. They've done something wrong, something painful. And the loving thing for you to do is forgive them. Things are kind of stuck. They're on hold because that's what needs to happen. And this is not saying that what they did is okay, that it didn't matter, wasn't that big a deal. It's not okay. It was a big deal. It mattered. It's not saying that the wrong doesn't need to be made right. And it's not saying that the trust you had with them is going to be restored right away. No. Those are different things. It is simply saying, I forgive you. I will not seek revenge. And this is a sacrifice sometimes we need to make as a statement of our commitment to them, our love for them. It makes a huge difference in the person's life. But I mean, the wonderful thing and kind of the amazing thing is it makes a big difference in your life. Carrying a grudge is a heavy and damaging load to carry. This is how these statements are how you can begin spreading love everywhere you go, and how you can make a difference in the people's lives around you. Each of these acts we see in God, how he loves all people. He accepts people. He gives value to people. He cares when they hurt. He's forgiving. This is all a choice that he made, a commitment that he made, and a sacrifice that he made. And it's these kinds of loving acts that will bring healing to people's lives. It'll bring healing to our communities. and even our country. Sometimes we think it's political issues that really need to get squared away and then we'll be fine. But I mean, those are important, and there are some that political things that need to happen, things that need to change. But what is really going to bring healing to the hurting, damaged people all around us is that they would be loved. And this requires a choice, sacrifice, a commitment. And it's a major investment that we make in the lives of people. So you want to make a difference? You want to help people? Spread love everywhere you go. Thanks so much for listening. I hope this has been helpful to you in some way, encouraged you, maybe given you some ideas or things to think about and some actions maybe that can follow. Maybe you know somebody and they need to hear this. Please feel free to share it. If you like it, I hope you click like or subscribe if you're into that. And until next week, I hope you have a good week and a safe week.